Hey, let's talk about this big budget movie on Netflix. The reported budget for this thing is crazy, crazy. North of 400 million. We'll find out. This movie is from the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo. It's The Electric State, based on a novel that became a graphic novel, and it's about a brother and sister, um, kind of an alternate timeline of Earth where Walt Disney invented robots and robots became a big part of society. And Michelle and her brother's this super genius. Michelle, played by Millie Bobby Brown, lost her brother in a tragic accident. But in the midst of this, there is a robot war where people are fighting robots that are defeated through the use of VR controlled by humans, other robots. It's crazy. So Michelle goes on a journey to find her brother when she discovers a robot says he is her brother. A little robot that's based on a cartoon that the brother used to watch when he was a kid. It's all very convoluted. Like the first 10 minutes, there's a prologue that does the world building. And I'll say this, the world building is amazing in this film. The special effects are incredible. You have these anthropomorphized robots based on like Mr. Peanut, Lemonhead, a taco that plays piano, a postal woman that's a mailbox, like amazing, weird, anthropomorphized robots. The world building is amazing. The problem is the world is dumb. It's dumb and illogical. He runs into a character played by Chris Pratt. I forget his name. And what's his name?
Keats,
who has another robot friend. He's a dealer in maybe illicit items he should not have, like the human version of eBay, selling stuff off in a warehouse. And Michelle and Keats go on this adventure to try to find her brother. The robot version of her brother that is their companion sort of has the brain of her brother, but doesn't know where his body is. So his body is somewhere. They're trying to reunite the brain that's in the robot with the actual physical brother that is somewhere in the world. Stanley Tucci plays an evil character named Ethan Skate, who seems to be modeled off Jeff Bezos. I mean, he really truly is.
They look similar. Let's just put it that way. They look similar.
Very similar. Very similar. And he's the one that has created this sort of, I don't know, this police state with these robots that keep things in line. Robots are now outlawed. Humans can't have robots, and they're relegated to a safe zone. As long as they stay there, they're okay. So they go to this zone and then team up with other robots who go on the journey to try and find her robot brother's brain's body. It's convoluted. It's very simply laid out in the film. Kihei Kwan plays a scientist, Dr. Amherst, who plays a part in this with an avatar component robot. And I'll say the world building incredible. The effects, amazing CG. I mean, you've got colossal construction robots used to fight battles. You've got action. Coleman Domingo plays a mercenary robot. The butcher of, what is it? The butcher of, I forget. The butcher of Schenectady or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're off on this journey together. So it is very much inspired by like 80s movies. Oh, there are tons of pop culture references because the movie is set in 1994, kind of an alternate history where pop culture is the same, but the world technologically is different. It's incredibly ambitious. But like I said, the world building is so well done. But here's the main flaw with the movie. It feels like the whole movie was written by AI. Every line of dialogue in this movie is a cliche. I could predict what characters were about to say. Don't do this. You'll kill yourself. I'm your friend. It's so earnest, almost slavish to 80s and 90s blockbusters. It just copies that dialogue style. And I thought the characters are all two-dimensional. Woody Harrelson plays Mr. Peanut, kind of the head, the FDR of the robots, the leader, benevolent leader. And I got to say, I was so impressed by how, I mean, this is a multi-$100 million. Can you look up the box office or the
yeah, someone just said
budget?
320 million.
I mean, it is a huge budget movie. So I'll say this. I do think the Avengers movies are in good hands with the Russo brothers because what they're able to do is spectacle. But wow, they need help on the script. The flaw in this movie was the screenplay. Everything else, although I'm not a huge fan of Millie Bobby Brown, I don't know what it is with brother-sister relationships in movies these days. Seems like they're kind of overused, like way too affectionate.
Yeah,
Than
because we can't have romance anymore. So
you can't have romance. So there's a really weird connection between Millie Bobby Brown and her brother. Like, I don't mean it's sexual. It's just, it's too much and not believable. At least my recollection of, I have 3 sisters and we would tease each other a lot.
Yeah. But that's
And
the point is they've replaced romance with family love. But the thing is, you can't make a family without romance.
It's weird. So look, I'm very mixed on this movie. I would only recommend it for the spectacle. So it gets a bare recommend, but the script is terrible. Now, I heard from Nerdrotic the comic book is great. I never read it. It's something that I could see this visually working great in a comic. In real life, and the effects, like, we have seen some bad CGI lately. Really bad CGI in movies of late. You cannot say that about this movie. Yeah. It is phenomenal. I would have liked to have seen this in a theater, actually, just for the spectacle, which is the only reason to see this on Netflix, because the story is so lame on every level. 2D characters, the anthropomorphized robots. It's so weird because they assume you're going to feel something. There's some very ET like moments with the robots, like with relationships with humans, and they come off flat. So I'm only recommending it only for the spectacle. The story is dumb. The world is dumb. The script is dumb. The effects are the best I've seen this year. The best. I could see this winning Oscar for best special effects. They were that good. But on every other level, a colossal disappointment. So probably 5 out of 10 for me. Alan, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying go to my companion review because, again, I don't understand this fascination that people have with cute robots and why we need to spend so much time and energy saving cute robots from destruction. I mean, that's essentially this movie. It's save the cute robots, save the cute robots. To me, it's just a waste of time from a story standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint. So having said that, let's talk about the movie. Do you remember the movie Heart Beeps?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I remember because I was I was on the tail end of junior high, middle school at the time it came out, and I remember really wanting to see this movie. It was Andy Kaufman and Bernadette Peters, and they played robots, and it was just, and I remember how excited I was wanting to see heartbeats in the movie. And I think my love of robots at that time kind of swayed my opinion about the movie a little too much toward good, because that movie is very dated. This movie reminds me of that. And I think the key to the Electric State is understanding the audience. This audience is for preteens and younger, maybe early teens, because that's the vibe I get. It's for kids. This is a kids movie. And I think as a kid who likes robots, whether you fall in love with the cute ones or hate the ugly ones, this movie is for kids. And I think kids will have a good time with this movie. I think you are 100% correct in the special effects and the world building. It is incredible. And that's why I'm saying, if you have a young teens, I think this movie will appeal to them much more than older adults. It might be a little too violent and scary for younger kids, but this movie, I believe, hits that sweet spot of preteens and young teens.
Yeah.
And I think it will do well. And we talk about the budget. I'm looking at it here. Netflix has 300 million subscribers as of January. Over 300 million subscribers, paying what, $20 each? So they can afford to make a $320 million movie. And that's the problem I've always had with streamers making movies, because you don't have that metric. You don't have the accountability. I mean, why would you make a $320 million movie? Not, I think the algorithm is what they rely on to say, okay, it's worth the expense. But it just seems like a monumental waste of money. And this is the issue I've had with streamers making movies from the very beginning, because at least with the box office, you have an idea of whether a movie is a success or not. But when you just make the movie and throw it on your streaming platform, you don't know if it's a success unless that company releases the data. So this is, I can believe it would cost 320 million. I can't believe they would spend 320 million to do it. They got to doge Netflix. Let's say that.
Well, like I said, my only reason for recommending you see it, even though it's a 5 out of 10, is the effects are just
absolutely
spectacular. The best I've seen in a long time. Like on a par with Dune Part 2. That's how good they are. Like believable characters.
And the robots, the interaction with the robots, there's an avatar element with the cyborgs that just menacing, looks great in the way they portray, and the robot fights felt real. It didn't feel like it was just watch it. But the robot fights are weird to watch, but it feels authentic.
Well, like I said, the world building was amazing, spectacular, colossal, believable, but the world is a dumb world.